Hello, Parsboro Community Radio listeners. Welcome to Exploring the Neighborhood with your hosts, Thor and Debbie, here on CICR 99.1 on your FM dial. We'd like to thank Kanza as the sponsor for our show.
For those of you who are not aware, Kanza is Cumberland County's only Careers Nova Scotia Centre and a vital participant in this area's road to prosperity. This year, Kanza is celebrating 15 years of serving the area and providing valuable employment and educational opportunities. Our goal for Exploring the Neighborhood is to take you on a series of half-hour adventures that include road trips, candid interviews, and commentaries.
We'll focus on the area's homegrown businesses, unique landmarks, and emerging talent. We're hoping to shine a well-deserved light on the local endeavors that promote eco-friendliness and self-sufficiency.
We are here in the historical, majestical Oxford Capitol Theatre with Eleanor.
Hello.
The walls are black. The walls are tin, I believe, patterned. Gorgeous. It's been around for some time.
1923.
1923. Oh, a young place.
Yes.
I've got a house older than that.
Most people have. This block burnt in, I'm going to say 1918, but I could be a little wrong on the year there. This whole block burnt. And then A.E. Smith, who owned the store around the corner, GJDE, wasn't called that then, and in 1923 he built this. He had the Fairyland Theatre above the store on the top floor, and then he built this theatre and opened it in September 1923. And we had a birthday party for the theatre here a few years ago, and the movie that opened that year in 1923, the big movie, was The Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney, and we showed that in this theater. We charged 25 cents. We had a poster from that era, and we charged 25 cents admission to get into the show, and we had Laurie McLeod do a monologue as A.E. Smith here on the stage. It was awesome. Very nice evening.
So the fact that the building burned down had nothing to do with the First World War, did it?
No. It was a product of its era in construction. Here, this was slab town. There was a lot of lumber around this district when Oxford was developed. So therefore, all the buildings were made of lumber. Very highly flammable. And in, I think it was 1908, there was a whole wood pattern block across the street that burnt. And then from the corner, and that was burnt for a whole different reason, but it all went because of the wood construction. And then when this block was rebuilt, this section was vacant for a number of years. And in 23, like I said, A.E. Smith built the theater here. And this is cinder block construction with this tin ceiling. And I think, I could be wrong, been wrong before, I think the only other one like this left is in Bridgewater.
Oh, okay. And by the way, don't be worried about being wrong. I think most of the people, and especially me.
Oh, yeah, I get to be wrong several times a day, so it's not a shocker.
Wrong is not a bad thing.
No. Room for expansion and learning.
Yes, on top of that, neither one of us is 20, so we're forgiven.
Yes.
So the building began in the roaring 20s.
Yes.
And what happened in the 30s?
Oh, you're asking a hard question. This continued as a movie theater until the 70s. And the whole economy of small towns in the Maritimes took a downturn. And it had to do with a lot of things. Women working, buying their own car, going further shopping than their local community. And then the advent of shopping malls. You could get anything you wanted, all under basically one roof. So everybody went to Amherst. They brought in a mall. And
still the case, isn't it?
Yes. Now they're going to Moncton, but all the same difference. You know, right. It's an exodus out of your community. And everybody has 2 cars. Most households have 2 cars, so therefore they can do that. And doesn't seem to have any bearing on the price of gas anymore. A lot of the little towns died. And it got more expensive. There became more governing rules to running a theater, and people were going to town, Amherst or Truro, depending on where where your interests lie. So you could go to the show while you're there. They just died in these little places like this. We've had different evolutions of trying to bring it back, but it just never seemed to get the clientele for a movie.
Is there any possibility to get this back to a theater, even temporarily?
Oh yes, yeah. We have a drop-down screen, and we have the digital projector and everything, so you can actually show movies here. And the place is occasionally rented for kids' parties, birthday parties, and they show a movie and make popcorn, and so you get the whole going to the show experience.
So you have the opportunity to create a film festival here if you wanted to.
Yes, we do. Yes. Putting thoughts in my head. Don't put ideas in my head. We all get in trouble.
There's a wonderful film festival in Parsboro, I believe, and I actually went to see one that they were trying out between Tatamagouche and Pugwash. I was actually surprised at the quality of movies that were chosen. Whoever chose the movies knew what they were doing, so it was a wonderful experience.
We have a lot of artistic thinkers in the rural communities of Nova Scotia, and a lot of people have no holdback on their thinking. The idea of, I couldn't do that here because it's too small. That's gone now, and people realize I can access the world from my doorstep now. So they think in that bigger scheme now, and a lot of people that are involved in stuff actually have like a summer property here, or an aunt that lives here, or their grandmother lived here. So they're coming back to the rural things and bringing these ideas with them, because to start with, it costs a lot less to do your event here than it does in Halifax.
From someone who lived in Montreal and 12 years in Los Angeles, the actual artistic creative process gets killed because everybody's so busy worrying about just paying the rent that they don't allow their imagination to travel far enough.
Yeah.
It is actually a benefit to be in a small place like this where, like you said, no restrictions, come up with something that's different, and away you go.
That's it. You can have an idea, and if you can figure out how to operate that idea or deliver that idea from where you're living, you could have made in the shade, because most everybody will support you around here. And if you can plan it and organize it and show how it can come off and come together, you're good. There's no restrictions on that.
Plus, there's this wonderful thing they invented called the internet.
Yes.
Which allows you to deliver to the world.
Yes. I mean, we had an event here. Well, actually, we had 3 events here last weekend. We have a music jam. And then Saturday night, we had the Foolish Fashion Show. And that's an absolute scream every year because it's very literal. Like a box pleated skirt will be actually a box with pleats around it. So we deliver that to this packed house. And we do that every year. And then we had a fundraiser Sunday night for Habitat for Humanity, and we had Deirdre Green, a local girl who won several singing contests around here, and then Mark Stevens and Danny Patrigan were the second show, and they're local people, and then Christina Martin and Dale Murray, who are local people also, but she's actually of world renown, traveled all over Europe and everywhere, and we put on a big fundraiser here for Habitat for Humanity, and those are world-class acts.
I love to be invited.
I'll add you to my list.
Thanks for calling me. I got to get you on this Habitat for Humanity. This is something that confuses the life out of me, because Habitat for Humanity generally, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's generally building a house?
Yes, they build a house.
Why do we need to do that in Cumberland County? There's so many empty places.
The places that are here that are empty are usually empty for a reason. Either the people that own them don't want them sold, or can't sell them for maybe financial reasons. Some of the money is too much or more than people are willing to pay. And the Habitat for Humanity group in this maritime area don't refurbish older houses. I don't know why. You'd have to ask them that. But all their programs are geared to building a new house. Because they put one up in Spring Hill, and we're actually building a community here. We started with one, and there's 2 more coming off later in the year. I don't know whether it's because of their governance or their policies or some kind of an agreement somewhere. I don't know why they're not using any, because in the northeastern U.S., they're refurbishing older homes.
I think they might just be leaving them for me.
Could be. But they're not doing that here, and I don't know why they chose to do it differently, but we didn't have any control over that either. Amazing the amount of control we don't have.
That's another interview.
Yes, with somebody else.
I always go, there's so many people so busy creating rules and regulations for us.
Yes, noticed that.
I want to know who the guy is who's getting rid of them, the ones that we don't need.
There should be somebody, shouldn't there?
I think we should employ more people to get rid of the rules instead of more people to get more rules.
The more you create structure, the smaller the center becomes, and the less people that want to be in the center, because everything is not black and white. Everything is shades of gray or shades of mauve or shades of green or shades of pink or whatever. I don't like pink, but whatever. It's blends of everything, and the more structure you put around it, and the more rules you put in place to govern it, the more you kill it.
I'm thinking that too.
And I don't know how to stop that, because it's
not your job.
No, thank God.
All right, so Eleanor, tell me about the events that take place in this building. I know that everyone I talk to loves playing here. All these people find this is a great venue to play. But what else happens here?
Last night, Trails Association, that put the bridge in up here and connected the Trans-Canada Trail to the rest of everything east of here. They had a presentation here last night. I don't know how many people was here, but because we have the drop-down screen, you can do a PowerPoint presentation, or you can have guest panel up here to ask questions, whatever kind of presentation you want to do. And we've got a stage. Not everybody has a stage. Town has occasional meetings here because they have something that they want to present to the citizens of the town. So they'll have their little function here. And different people use this because we have a presentation stage. And then we have all this awesome sound here, because acoustics in this building are just a wall to die for. But that's what it was made for, to be acoustically pleasant.
And we used it for the Songwriters Circle.
Yes.
Which was sponsored by CFTA and Kanza.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful place.
Yes. A lot of the old theaters, so this one has the inclined plane floor. Well, that gives you part of your acoustical travel of sound. People mention, you could always tell when Eleanor's in the building. The acoustics are so good here. Yeah, right. That's not the reason, but whatever.
And for anyone listening, we did forget to shut the heaters off.
Oh, yeah. If you hear that little sound, yes. And that was something. We had a fundraiser. We had a grand old country show here, and we had people playing the parts of various country and western singers, and we did a couple of little skits, and we had a matching thing with the bank, and we bought these heat pumps. The town went halves with us as well. So it makes this place more comfortable. And it's not so god awful hot in the summertime, because it gets really, really warm in here in July and August. The air exchangers will make a huge difference in that. So we can have functions here in the summertime.
We were saying that this place stopped being a movie theater in the 70s. What happened then?
Maple Players moved in.
Who are the Maple Players?
A group of actors in town. I can't tell you now who started them, but Eric Mosier, who lives around the corner, he was one of the key components of the Maple Players. There's been a lot of different people in town involved in it. Laurie McLeod, Linda Foley, Eric, of course, and Mike Segay was heavily involved in it. I can't think now. There were so many of them. And they just evolved. They did 2 plays a year, and this was their home base. And some of the plays were comedies and some not quite so comedic. And they had all their stage production here. Some of them were musicals, but on a couple of musicals too. And they did an awesome job.
Just a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Ship's Company Theatre in Parsboro.
Yeah.
Did they ever present their plays here?
No. When they started with Kippawa and trying to bring that in and develop a stage around that, that was the core of their theater expectations, was to feature the Kippawa as part of their stage and part of their structure. So the theater they've got there now evolved out of the ideas they had about saving the Kippawa, which was the ferry across the other side. And they have never taken their shows on the road, to my knowledge. A lot of Halifax people come up to there, and then again, you've got your exodus from everywhere out to the shore here in the summer. So people from Oxford and Spring Hill actually go to plays at the Ship's Company Theatre, but they're down there at their cottages.
Well, here's the crazy idea. They don't do much during the winter season, do they?
No, you see, and this is a 12-month event here.
Right. Just a hint for you people down in Parsboro.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So you had plays taking place late 70s, 80s, I guess?
Yeah, right up until, about 12 years ago. They sort of went by the wayside, and I don't know why. I have no particular knowledge of that sort of thing. I think it was harder to get people involved, so their core of people they selected from got smaller, and nothing much happened here. They got down to a play year, and then they decided to put in a bluegrass event on here, and that was Arnie McNally and Wade Edshed decided to put a bluegrass event on here 10 years ago. And that was the start of the music in the theater.
It's primarily music now?
Mostly, yes. Although we're open to various other things, like because Rocky and Drew and them come in here and they put on all of their plays that they have done themselves, produced themselves, have been done here on this stage. And we've drawn from far away as from Halifax for them people to come here to see Rocky and Drew and their crew in a play. And we've done a couple of things. The Fun Tones, they're here once a year at least in an event.
The Fun Tone?
A barbershop choral group, ladies. Yeah,
ladies?
Ladies barbershop choral group, yes. Their base is here in Oxford.
A feminist.
Well, I don't know whether any men have ever offered to join or not. I'm sure they wouldn't be turned down, but they might be looked at a little funny.
Who sings the baritone parts?
I don't know. I don't sing in any formats.
Okay.
But ladies, I'm sure. In the summertime, the music jams stop for the summer in the latter part of June. Our last event in June, which I can't tell you now what the date is, don't remember numbers well, will be our bursary night, and we give out 2 bursaries. Done that every year. And then we start up again, and it follows the 2-week cycle. We'll start up again the first part of September. So during July and August, this place will have different things in it this summer. We're hoping we can get a play or 2 here, but we've got a couple of concerts upcoming during the summer as well. And then we're planning Christmas at the Capitol in December. That's going to be quite a big event. It'll be a musical as well, but there'll be a skit or 2, and it'll be like an old-fashioned Christmas concert type theme. And there's something coming off in October. Oh, yes, we have fiddlers and step dancers coming in October.
Oh, I don't want to miss that.
No. And probably shouldn't broadcast this yet, but Kevin Dakin is coming sometime this summer. I haven't got him nailed down to a date yet, but I'm working on that. Oh, yes, and this month, forgot I was in May, the 21st, Killick is coming. And that's Cajun music, and I don't think we've ever had Cajun music, Zydeco music on this stage before, so that will be exciting, because apparently it is pretty exciting music.
Oh, I got to be there for that one,
yes.
too. I haven't heard that since Louisiana.
No, that's kind of like the home of it now.
That sounds exciting, and if people want to get tickets and things, how do they do that?
They call me, Eleanor, 902-447-3040.
Or you said Facebook too, right?
Yes. I'm on Facebook and I share everything that's coming up at the theatre, and I'm just Eleanor Crowley on Facebook. You can find me in Oxford.
And does the theatre have a Facebook page, or it's just...
Well, yes, we do. Oxford Main Street Music Society, now that you mention it, yes.
All right, good idea.
Yes.
You were also mentioning the difficulty of planning things in the summer.
I was at a hospital meeting here this spring, and that was one of the things we discussed there, that everybody leaves Spring Hill and Oxford for the shore. Now, Spring Hill goes mostly to the Fundy shore. Oxford goes mostly to the Northumberland shore, but they all go to the shore. And starting the end of May, they start moving out, getting the cottage ready and whatever. And it's more difficult to get people to come back.
Because a 40-minute drive is just too much, right?
They should live in Toronto.
Yeah.
They'd know about getting someplace.
LA, it's 2 hours to get anywhere.
Oh,
Get used to it.
I visited friends in Toronto one time, and I was amazed. Nobody sat down to supper till 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
That's because it takes 5 hours to get there.
Oh, I know one night I said, I'm cooking supper tonight. 7:30, supper's going to hit the table. Be here. And it was a big job for them to get to supper at 7:30.
They had to leave the day before.
Well, you can't get home. As people around here have no idea how much traffic and getting from point A to point B. And then once you get somewhere, you got to park. Oh, and they charge an arm and a leg for that.
Well, here, I think, to the North Shore from Oxford, what is it, 20 minutes, 25?
Yes, depends on where you're going. If
Yeah.
you're going down to Pugwash, 15 minutes.
There you go. That 15 minutes should be
Now,
doable.
if you want lobster, 15 minutes away.
You can bring the lobster to the theater, right? What do you serve here?
We just have a canteen here, and we just do popcorn and occasionally chips, depending on if I remember to buy them or not, and bars and coffee and tea and pop and water.
No alcohol, right?
No.
All right.
No.
Just, certain
Yeah.
people care.
Yes, I know. Some people do care. And they talked about that one time, having, like a wine and cheese thing here and getting a liquor license. But then that got to be, different inspectors come in, and it got to be a thing. That never happened.
The rule thing again, right?
Yes, rule thing kicked in.
Okay. What else is going on in Oxford besides the theater?
Apparently we are the happening place here. And what else is going on in here? Well, the Oxford Journal building, and everybody cried real tears when the Journal closed. But it's closed. It's not coming back, and we are not bringing it back.
And what was that?
Oh, that was the local paper. And everything was in the local paper, and everybody around Oxford took the local paper. And that's where you looked if you wanted to know what was going on or who did what was in the paper. And when it closed, everybody was devastated. It was like a funeral of a personal friend, but we never had a funeral. And
There's another idea. Maybe you should have a funeral here for the paper.
the Journal. If there's an idea. Yeah, we should have done that. This would have been the spot to have it. But anyway, somebody bought the building and they're renovating it, and there's somebody in there that fixes computers now.
Okay.
And we have community gardens where they were out Monday night, and I was supposed to go to that meeting, but I had two, and I had to skip one. They're developing community gardens here. This will be the second summer, and we've got sign-up sheets, I think, everywhere. And there's one set of gardens at the Lions Centre, another set behind the seniors up the street, Meadow Vista 1 and 2, and another set down here in Black River Park, and another set over in South Oxford where the old BA garage used to be.
And what is that?
Community gardens. Well, you can go. You can put your name on a sign-up sheet, and you get one of the boxes. There's 2 gardens in a box, and you can plant whatever, within reason, whatever you want in your section of the box. And I believe it's 6 by 6.
By the way, for all listeners, Justin has not approved it yet, so don't think of that.
Yeah, that was where my head went, so I knew somebody would say that. That's a whole other law.
So it is an actual community garden.
Yes.
Excellent.
But there used to be Victory Gardens years ago.
Right.
And that was started during the Second World War, I believe, the Victory Gardens. So this is a spin-off from that to get people to eat healthy. And the garden is not in your yard, so you have to leave home and walk to it and cultivate it and put some seeds in it and tend it and pull the occasional weed. And then you get produce out of that you're expected to eat.
No chickens, right?
No chickens.
I'm still trying to get chickens in Spring Hill.
I don't know why you couldn't have chickens.
Apparently, one of those rules again. You're not allowed to have chickens in Spring Hill. I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah, we can have chickens, I think.
You got to check the rules.
Well, I did one time, and we could have chickens.
All right, good.
Yeah, so I don't know, that may have changed and nobody told me, but...
Well, that means Oxford's got one up on Spring Hill.
Yes, we can have chickens. Because I know people in town that do have chickens. So,
okay, good,
yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names, so just in case there is a rule.
Just in case. Don't want the RCMP. Actually, you have the RCMP right down the street,
yes,
too.
Yes.
Don't want them messing around with chickens.
No. I don't think it's the same people, though. I think bylaw people are different people than RCMP people.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, because I think that these sorts of things, like somebody has a big dog and evidently every once in a while it craps on the sidewalk. Well, there's a rule to govern that, which is a good thing because I don't much like stepping in it. You have to watch where you're going. But the people that enforce that rule are not RCMP. They're bylaw people, I think.
Okay. Different people.
Yes, I believe so. Yes. You have to have a bylaw enforcement officer, if I'm not mistaken.
And what about this river that you got running through Oxford? Do you ever do anything with that?
Actually, there are two.
Two?
There's the River Phillip, goes down through here.
Okay.
And that is huge fly fishing river.
Okay.
It's as popular as what's the other one down Shubenacadie, St. Mary's River? Yeah, that's the other big fly fishing river in Nova Scotia.
All right, let me take down those notes here.
Yeah. Well, if you fly fish, it's a big deal, but otherwise it's, I watch them, but I don't fish.
I don't use flies. I use the little corn things and the bobber, and that's
corn things?
Yeah, can of corn.
Oh, I've never fished with corn before.
It's an Ontario, Quebec thing, I think.
It must be. I've never heard of anybody fishing with corn before, but that's all right. Whatever works to catch your fish. And there's actually salmon that spawn in this river as well. It's a very important river.
Okay, time has run out. If you'd like to contact us, our email is scotiaheritageproductions@gmail.com.
When it comes to local business, arts, crafts, and entertainment, we'll try our best to provide a global perspective on our community and remind listeners that where one regularly chooses to spend their money is often much more powerful than the occasional vote at the ballot box.
So, help out your talented neighbors and enjoy the unique diversity of what Cumberland, Westmoreland has to offer. And ultimately, you'll be helping yourself. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
So, tune in next week for another episode of Exploring the Neighborhood with your hosts, Thor and Debbie, here on CICR 99.1 on your FM dial.